Okay, so yeah, now the recording is working. I don't know if he's disabled allowing recordings or something. Not sure, but regardless, I'm sure he'll rejoin us if he heard me, and that'll be all good. But yeah, like I was saying, if it was me, I would do calls to speed the process up. I definitely would. I put a bit of hustle behind it, and I think it lends itself to being able to do setup fees. And what I'm going to show you today is how fast it can actually happen without setup fees. And if you add setup fees on top of it, you're going to advance a lot of the cash flow, which makes things a lot
but
easier.
I mean, for bigger company, you need to have a setup fee because basically you are training an employee.
Yeah.
So if you want to do the training properly and in depth to get a good result and really something efficient, then yeah, you need to have that down as well in terms of setup fee for me.
Yeah, exactly. And I suppose you could also loop that into an annual plan as well. Annual works really well, which advances 12 months of cash flow. So I would look at that, both options. Just give me 1 second till I send Dieter an email here, just so he doesn't think I kicked him out of the call there. And then we'll just jump straight into things. Pop up an email. Okay, there we go. Okay, so I'm just going to dive into the training today. But before we begin, does anyone have any questions they want us to cover? There's only 4 of us at the moment, but I'm sure we'll get a few more. Anybody have any questions they want to?
I have one question about pricing. What kind of pricing points? Because like if you want to have the whole AI employee suite for sub account in Go High Level, it's $97 a month. How much would you charge the client? You make the same amount, 97, for example, as a recurrent, or on top?
It depends on the full package, to be honest with you. It depends what other things that I'm doing with it. But I would probably go between 97 and I would go up to maybe 297. It's sort of my boundary with it. I don't mind if you have a setup fee in place. I don't actually mind going 297 or so. That's perfectly fine. There's no issues doing that.
Okay, that's it for me. Thanks.
No worries. Anybody else have any questions before we dive in? Nathan, yeah, go for it.
Hi, now I saw that there's a new course, the AI employee. Is that available already for everyone?
Yeah, for those that request it, yeah.
Okay.
You just have to request it.
Okay, because I thought I did, but okay, thank you.
No worries, we'll get you sorted. It might have been lost in the 100 and something comment.
Yeah, 117. I put it again today, just in case.
No worries. I do try and I filter for newest, but sometimes it doesn't show me the newest. It shows me the comments, what someone's replied to or something,
By the way, you can automate that in JHL, right? The replies to a post in Facebook.
I haven't tried it, to be honest with you, but the only issue is I don't necessarily. The way we work is that we make sure that only, because obviously we're dealing with a high volume of people, we make sure only people that are active members get the new releases. So we check every single one of them to make sure. So just to make sure that people, it's fair for everyone, especially if there's been a problem with a card or something. So I can't really automate that. Is the long and short.
You could put a man in the middle, even though in the automation, like have the AI tell you the list of people that like send you a notification instead of activating it, so you can check manually. But you could have a list of people that is requesting it.
Yeah, could do. Yeah, that would work too. Yeah, and I mean, also the one problem we always have is just obviously people are busy. People are doing different things, always on lots of things on Facebook. They don't often see an email, or they don't often see a post. So the comments on the post make sure other people can actually see it too. So it's a bit of it works two different two different benefits, I suppose. And Bernard, you're asking about that in there too. You mentioned AI employee, you're licensed. What does that mean? Okay, so you do get go high level with what we do. Yeah, you'll have if you just set up your account under the accessing your agency website program, and it will have a form in there. You just fill out the form. It will set you up with login credentials. Usually takes about 12 hours or so, and it will give you the logins. You've got a full go high level account that you can use with all of our assets, which are about $30,000 worth. And I say that's not a value add or a value stack. That's actually what I paid to build it all. So it truly is about 30K in different assets built out for you. So you have all of that in there. You get that. And also the AI employee license, I'm going to come on to that in this training, actually. You're going to see how that fits in, and I'm going to explain that because that's something we've been using recently, a term we've been using recently, and you're going to see how this transition is happening. So previously, the agent over the last, as you may know or you may not know, the agency lab has been with us for about 6 years now, and we've developed it, updated it, progressed as we moved forwards, right? That's the way it worked. And it went from just courses and things to different assets to now it's turning into, with all the updates we're releasing, it's turning into a model where you're basically taking our entire business and with all the pre-built systems, the pre-built automations, and have the ability to resell those and actually go out there. So you don't have to build them. You just go out there with the automations and such, sell them to customers much faster. You don't have to build stuff anymore. So that's why we're using that term a bit more. It's no longer courses or having to learn. It's you can just take it and go and start selling. So that's what that means. Now, I'm not sure if you requested access to the AI employee. If you haven't, I think you did. I'm not sure. You might have. Just it's in the Facebook group. Just comment and we'll grant you access to that program. And if you didn't get access to go high level, sometimes there's issues with the form. Just submit the form again, and it will get you access. And if that ever happens, just let us know. We can fix it because it just means the alert might have gone to spam or something like that. We didn't see it. So just let us know if you ever don't get a response from us, because we're very, very fast at responding. And if you haven't heard anything, there's something that's gone wrong. Right? I always say that something has gone wrong. We haven't seen something, so just let us know and we'll get you sorted out. Any other questions before we dive in? No? All right. Let's dive into the training. Let me just share my screen here. Vaughn, just a quick one for you. I think Dieter was trying to join the call earlier.
Okay.
And Google kicked him out. And I'm not sure if it said DVE. So I'm guessing it was Dieter.
Probably.
They kicked him out because it's recorded.
I'll contact him and see if he is trying. But
yeah.
All right. Hundreds. Thanks, Noel.
I popped him an email, but I'm not sure if he will see it in time or what. He might just think he got kicked out. He didn't. It was Google kicked him out. So let him know. He's more than welcome to hop back in.
No, I appreciate it. Thank you.
No worries. All right. Let's dive into the training today. Now, this is one that I've been quite excited for, to be honest. This is one that it's a question I get asked all the time. Literally all the time people ask me this. If you were starting from zero, if you were having to do everything from scratch, what would you do? Exactly how would you do it? So this is what I'm going to take you through. Now, remember, before we dive in, I'm going to be on a different tab, going through the slides for you here. I can't see the chat. So if you leave questions in the chat, I'm not going to be able to see it. Just unmute yourself and talk over me. It's not rude. It's not a problem. Just talk over me and I'll pause. You can ask your question or whatever you need. I cannot see the chat when I'm on this different tab. So money models is what I call this. What would I do if I had to start from scratch today? And one last note, I might have to hop back and forth if someone's trying to get in the call or whatever. So if I take a break, that's what I'm doing. So let's talk about exactly what I would do if I was starting from complete scratch today with nothing, no audience, no list, no offer, nothing except the one exclusion is my experience. what I've learned along the way. So the reason I do this is because you can tap into that. You're learning from my experience here. So what would I do based on what I've learned, what I've done before, what lessons I've learned? What would I do? How would I get to the 10K mark quickly? Now, there's an important distinction that I want to make here. 10K is great, but 10K per month consistently is even better. 10K is great, but being able to consistently deliver tremendous value to your customers is going to make life 1,000 times easier. There's no point in trying to take the quick fix to reach these levels. If you do that, if you try to go out there and hit 10K, you're going to hit 10K, then 3 months later, the money dries up and you're going to go back to square one again. So we've got to stop that cycle. That's just a hamster wheel, right? We've got to stop that cycle. We've got to be in a position where when we reach that 10K mark, it turns into 120,000 over the course of 12 months. Right? That's the reality, if not even more. It compounds. It repeats every single month. This means that it's not a one-time action, right? It's not as if we do something and then it just has one outcome. It's a repeatable outcome. It has, what's the word I'm looking for? It has a knock-on effect. It has payoffs that just keep happening over and over and over again, right? We take one action, we've got exponential returns happening. Now, simplicity in this is key, right? We want to be very simple in what we do. Customers impulse buy hype. So if they're super excited about something, they're going to impulse buy it. I don't really want to be in that scenario because they don't repeat purchase. They consistently pay for simple things that work. One of our clients is on Shopify and it's a business service. They have a 92% repeat customer rate. It's not recurring, right? It's not like a subscription. They have 92% of their customers come back and order again and again and again. What a ridiculous stat, right? And if we bring a customer in, we know that 92% of them are going to buy again by choice. Again, not recurring, they have to order again. So you think about that kind of business model. That's the kind of business model we want to build. Something where the customer is happily paying for it. And it's as simple as it's not boring, but it's not some brand new exciting thing. It's just nice and simple and it delivers the result. It does what it says in the box, basically, right? And this is why I always say that charging $3,000 per month and getting 3 clients to reach your typical 9K, but 10K is a hamster wheel. If one client leaves, your income's down by 33% overnight. That's quite a substantial drop, right? Your expenses are not going to drop by 33%, but your income will. And there's so many people out there that recommend this, but it doesn't actually help you. It keeps you spinning on that wheel. You never actually make those big moves, right? You never make those lifestyle upgrades where you feel comfortable. You know the mortgage is paid for every month. You don't have to worry about it. You know that you can go on vacation, do whatever you want, and still make money. Whereas the people that are on that hamster wheel, they're always running. They can't really go on vacation. They're still dealing with things. Whereas you'll be able to. So a lot of people out there recommend this path because it gets you to those bigger numbers faster. It puts the name in the banner, right? This person did it puts it in lights and they think, wow, that's incredible. But what we need to look for is the sustainability of it. We've got to look at the consistency, and they never ever show that. So what we're looking to do here is a little bit different. Now, as we get into the models, and this is going to answer some of the questions that were asked earlier, as we get into the models here, I want you to realize something. 1 second, someone's hopping in. So I want you to realize something. The way that we've set the agency lab up has come a long, long way. It's been built to be exactly what I needed when I was just starting out. That was my intention. So it's a perfect example for this workshop. So we're thinking about, okay, how would we get to 10K per month with nothing? Starting from scratch. The only thing I have are the lessons that I've learned. Well, what I would first want is I would want those lessons, the proof in a system. That's exactly what I'd be looking for. It was never available for me, right? When I first started, I remember because, excuse me, I remember because I was looking for help. And I remember, I've told this story once or twice before, but I remember I was sitting in my now fiance's parents' home, visiting over, I think it was the Canadian Thanksgiving. I remember sitting there, and I was in the, I had a call. I booked a call. And if you've ever seen Cole Gordon, you know, you've probably seen his ads everywhere for closers and such. If you've ever seen the hardcore closing sort of world, he was selling for traffic and funnels at the time. And I was looking for help. I was looking to try and advance forwards. And I remember it was something like 12, it was about 8,000, I think it was 8,000 USD to get the help that I needed. I remember another one, it was like 5K, and it was pressure. I didn't have the money to do it. And I thought, how am I ever going to do this? The help that I need, I can't get. And even like 997 webinars, I couldn't buy the thing. So I could never get the answer that I was looking for. And I always thought I just wish there was something that could help me along the way and not have to fork over 10 grand. I wish there was something. So that's where this came from. This is how it was all built, because I wanted that thing. I wanted that thing that wasn't about taking the money. I wanted the thing that was there to help. And that's where this whole model, this whole system, this whole process, this is where it all started. So if I was starting all over again, I'd be leaning into a working model. That's what I'd be looking for. I want something that I know works, and I'm going to go and lean into it. And we've set this up similar to like a franchise licensing model, right? If you think about that, except you can use your own brand, it's 100% yours, and you've got exclusive rights to sell the system within the lab. So all the systems that we have, all the pre-built systems within Go High Level, all the strategies, the offer structures, you have the license to go sell that, the license to resell, to bring customers on tomorrow. It's all there. They've already been proven, they already work, and they make businesses money. That's the key, right? Because that was my other thing. My other big problem was, okay, everybody teaches you how to sell something, but no one ever taught me how to deliver something. They never said, well, you know, it was always, well, this will help get more clients. Okay, great, but I've got quite a strong conscience. I don't want to deliver crap to people, right? I want to deliver something that works. I want the customer to be happy. I want them to be delighted. 1 second, someone's hopping in here. I wanted them to be delighted. So it gets me thinking, well, nobody ever taught me how to actually deliver for the client, or what do I do when things go wrong, or how do I make sure I can confidently sell something? So again, what am I looking for? I'm looking for a proven system. I'm looking for something that makes businesses money, and it makes sense, and they get a really good return on investment. Because again, what did they always teach you? They always taught you, run Facebook ads for a company, charge $1,500, $2,000 per month, even if their budget was $500 per month. Well, the return is not going to be there. The return on investment just isn't there. So you're basically taking all of their revenue that you're producing. It doesn't make sense. So no wonder those models that they're teaching, they're still teaching them. No wonder those lead to no, to no outcome. No wonder they struggle. No wonder they're always stuck in that hamster wheel. But that's where they want to keep you. They want to keep you in that hamster wheel. So I wanted a system that would deliver that return on investment. It had to be very clear to me. It had to be straightforward. It had to be, I deliver X for a business, they get Y out of it. Why? Because I could be confident. I could feel good. I could sleep at night doing so. So I'd want a proven system. That's what I'd be looking for. Now, why do I say all of this? Because I want you to realize something, and I want to answer a question that I hear quite often, which is, how do I use what I have? How do I use the agency lab? What's the fastest way for me to get started? Where do I start? What's the what services should I offer? And what's the fastest way to 10K per month? So to answer that directly, we have to ask a question of, why do people buy into a McDonald's franchise outside the brand name, right? Why do people buy into a McDonald's franchise versus starting up their own fast food restaurant? Well, it's a proven model. with proven systems. Just like if you've ever, we don't have a lot of Aussies on this particular call but if you've ever come across a franchise model called Jim's Handyman is called. They've got lawn care, it's all over Australia. Lawn care franchises. They've got like dog care, dog cleaning, and there's so many different models. There's no brand name behind it, but why do people do it? Why do people pay the investment is $35,000 USD? Why do people do that? Because they get a proven model. They get proven systems. It already has the demand. The demand's been proven. You can make your investment, you open your doors, your customers come in. That's the way it works, right? The demand is already there. But it's extremely expensive. I mean, a Jim's franchise is $35,000. A McDonald's is about, I think it's 50 plus if you end up putting 1 point something million into it in terms of the opening the stores, the design of it, the fixtures, the stock, all that kind of stuff is 1.5 million. If anybody's in Canada, the Canadian Tire franchise is about 1.2 million, I think it is. All in, you've got to basically take out debt to cover that before you actually make any money. But why do people do this? Systems, processes, proven structures. Now, the agency lab has been modeled after this, except without that crazy investment. Because I thought, well, the benefit we have is that we can operate with very low costs, right? We're a digital service business. That's what you built. You don't have stock. You don't have inventory. You don't have hard fixtures. You don't have tons of staff. We don't need any of that. So it's the perfect model because we can run the same operational structure, proven systems, proven demand, proven structures, proven or processes, the word I'm looking for, without the liability. You don't have that big investment. That's why it's so powerful. Now, you've got the systems that work. You've got the offers that work. You've got the pre-built assets to sell. You've got the markets that you should tap into. You've got the software. You've got the website. You've got the pricing structures, the systems to get customers. You've got the guidance. All you've got to do is plug it in. You don't have to pay back percentages. One more second, someone's hopping in. You don't have to pay back percentages. You don't have to pay $35,000 to buy into it. Then when you open the door, so let's say you set it up, when you open the door with all of your systems that a business needs, that a business wants, it's just about telling people about it. That's simply what it is, right? You've got systems that are proven to work. You've got in-demand services. And the reason I say they're in demand, and we're going to come on to this, but the reason I say in demand is because I want you to look at one core element. Every single thing we do is built towards buyer psychology. What does somebody want? They want more money. Really, they want more freedom, right? More control, more choice. But where does that come from in life? That comes from more money. They want more money. What does a business owner want? Well, a business owner wants more money. How do they get that? They get that with more business. What does every single service that we offer come down to? Generating either more customers, which equal more money, or making more money from existing customers. There's two facets, two prongs, essentially, two levers that we pull. Making more money is at the root of both of them. So I know they're in demand because they tap into the desire, the outcome the business owner actually wants. That's how we can say they're in such high demand, because they're not just made up. So many things have nice to have services, creative stuff, social media management, all that sort of stuff, nice to have. Whereas the way we build is, here's your desired outcome, more money. Well, let's build services, opportunities that get you more money. So we're always going towards the core desire. So we have all of this. You open the door, all of the systems that they need, that they want. All you have to do is go out there and tell people about it. All the offer structures that you have access to, they're already proven. Again, we're going to come on to what they are in a second, but they're already proven. They've been done. You've got the proof of the income generated. You've got the logic behind it. So if you want to believe in terms of numbers, you've got it there. If you want to believe based on logic, you've got it there as well. If you want to believe based on emotion, you've got it there. It checks the boxes. They work, they deliver results, they're in demand, and businesses want them. So instead of figuring all of this out yourself, you just plug it in. That's all you have to do. Now, before we go into the services, you do not have to do all of these at once from day one. I'm going to give you it. If I was just starting out, what I would do, what would I choose first? How would I set it up? And how would I proceed forwards? So if I was just starting out, I'd start off with one service. That's a little bit of a combo, but I'd start off with one simple service to reach that 10K per month mark. Then as I progress, I would stack other services on top of that, each hitting about 10K per month. So my goal would be to have these individual services hitting 10K per month until I'm bringing in about 600,000 to $1 million per year. That's essentially the boundaries that we operate on. Why? Because it gives us diversification. This isn't about just trying to have one massive client that pays a lot of money. It's about diversification. It's about no matter what happens in the markets, no matter what happens with economies, you're still stable. And you have that cash flow flowing in every single month, no matter what. It doesn't matter what happens. So you've likely seen this particular image before, and I'm going to dive into this in a bit more detail. But these are essentially the services that overall, not from the outset, but overall, I would be focusing on these ones here. You've got your AI agency, AI follow-up agency, AI voice / AI employee. This one's AI employee / chatbots, AI review management, and of course, digital course in a day. That's the 6 different levers that we have access to. Every single one of them, if you think about it, helps a business make more money. What do they need to make more money? A funnel or a website? Right? Without that, they can't. There's low trust. They're not going to make sales. Follow up. Well, we activate or reactivate old leads, turn them into money, make some money. AI voice, we capture leads that they're losing, which in turn makes them more money. Because if they don't pick up, if a plumber doesn't pick up the phone at 2 in the morning when someone has a burst pipe and it's going everywhere, what do? They call the next listing on Google, right? They've lost the business. So with AI voice and also with chatbots, we make them money. Review management. Well, if I'm sitting, and this happens, I go out for dinner every single week. So if I'm looking for a restaurant or something, or if I'm looking for an electrician, which I was about 5 months ago, what do? I look at the reviews. I go with the most reviewed, and not necessarily the one that's got perfect 5 stars from friends and family, but the one with the legit reviews. So my business goes to this person that has the most reviews. Therefore, it makes them more money because they would not get my money if the reviews weren't good. And then, of course, digital course in a day, how we can expand business lines, how we can bring customers in for business, therefore make them more money. Give me 1 sec, someone's hopping in. All right. So if I was just starting out with no experience whatsoever, or no technical experience rather, just on the lessons that I've learned, I would go with the AI follow-up agency, this one here, and I do a little bit of a combination with AI voice. These 2 here, this top corner, these are the 2 that I'm going for. Now, why would I do this? It creates a power offer that nobody else can match. No one can touch it because they don't have the system. So these 2 up here, chatbots, you can loop into this if you want to, but the base, the foundation are these 2, and I'm going to explain this in a bit more detail. So first of all, why would I choose the AI follow-up? Well, it allows us to take a database of leads and run automated emails, texts, calls, and more to reactivate these prospects and turn them into money. And I can do this at an absolute minimal cost for the client, yet I can bring business in extremely quickly. I can run a fast launch automation with their list, and I can bring business in within 24 hours. I can make their phone ring, right? It has speed. So I'm looking at two different aspects here. Number one, I can make them money. Number two, well, three actually. I can make them money. I can do it without incurring big costs, and I can do it fast. And I can also do it with no effort on their part. It's a very strong offer. It ticks the boxes, right? It's a very easy for them to say yes to offer. I don't have to have complicated calls or any of that stuff. It's a simple, fast acting, high profit, low cost offer that makes it very, very easy for them to say yes to. So I'm positioning myself where the demand is high. I'm positioning myself away from everybody else because I've got a very easy to say yes to offer. I'm not battling with, well, I'm going to shop around, I'm going to think on this, I'm not sure if I want it. None of that. I don't have any of that. Easy to say yes to. And I can approach a business owner and I can say, hey, all of those old leads that you have sitting around, I can turn them into profit with no ad spend for you. And I can get I can get you interested leads within 24 hours. It's a very bold promise, right? Very, very bold, but it's proven. We can do that. All they have to do is pay for the software to do it. That's how I'd position it. 97 per month or 297 per month. Let's say we were in the HVAC market where an installation is $6,000, which it typically can be, 4,000 to 6,000. If they get one single deal from that, one single deal, the upside is huge. The effort level from the client is zero. The risk for the client, zero. They spend $100 on a tank of fuel. So the cost is negligible. They don't care about that cost. Yet I can turn it into money. It's a crazy good offer for them. And it's fast acting. The feedback loop is really fast. We launch it, the phone rings. So they think, wow, that was fast. That was quick. They actually had traction very, very quickly. They're going to see traction in a matter of days. Now, if you want to compare this to SEO, where it can take 6 months just to see traffic start to flow in, we can do it in 24 hours. I'd also position this as making money. This is actually quite important. I'd position this as making money from all of the previous money they've spent, all the hard work. If they've worked with marketing companies before, if they've spent money on Facebook ads, which most have, if they've spent money on SEO, PPC, whatever it might be, if they've ever bought leads of any kind, all the money they've spent on marketing, we can make them money from the money they've spent previously. We can recoup that investment. Any leads that disappeared, any tire kickers that, not nearly tire kickers, but those that, you know, had to go speak to someone else, or those who wouldn't make a decision on the call, or disappeared, or something happened, or someone was in a hospital, or we've all heard it before. All of that frustration, that built up frustration they have, we can turn it into money. So this would be part one, right? I'm going to turn their pain into money. And this is the offer I'd walk in the door with. Right? I'd say this is the one I'd lead with. Then there comes what I call the can't live without offer. And I add it on top. Now, you can charge extra for this, or we can include it to sweeten the deal. If it's $297, we can include it to sweeten the deal. This is where I'd then position the AI employee or the AI voice. So a bit of a combination, right? If I'm charging $297 a month, I obviously I've got the profit margin in there. It's not a problem. I can sweeten the deal with this offer. Marketing is very expensive to do, right? Very expensive. They need to take full advantage of every single lead that comes in. But sometimes they just can't answer the phone. They might be on the job. They might be under a sink. They might be in a toilet. They might be at dinner. They might be walking the dog in the middle of the night. It happens. I remember when I was looking for that electrician, it was about, I think it was, I made dinner late one night and there's a plug socket that's stupidly positioned, and it turned out the heat from the stove had basically frazzled one of the wires in this plug socket, and it looked terrifying. It was really hot, and I was terrified because I had no idea what goes on, if it was going to explode or whatever. Turns out it was very close to, but regardless, it was 10 o'clock on a Sunday night or something, right? Nobody was picking up their phone, and I basically worked my way down Google until someone responded quickly. That's literally what I did. I'm living proof of what I'm saying here. I worked my way down Google until I found someone that replied. Checked the reviews. So they were okay, they were fine, booked them in for the next day. That's how it worked. So things happen. Emergencies happen all the time, at random times. If they don't answer, the lead moves on to the next company. The lead's then been lost. They're not there anymore. You've lost that to someone else. And if you're running Google ads, you're basically paying for that customer. They clicked on your website, you didn't answer. You're paying for that customer to go somewhere else. You're paying for your competitor to get that customer, because you get them in a position where they move on to the next business. So it's very, very painful when we frame it like this. Now, on top of all of this, the leads that are actively looking for help, these are piping hot leads, right? They're very easy deals to close. So by not being available 24/7, the business misses the lowest hanging fruit, the easiest to close deals. Sometimes the highest value because they're emergency. The business loses them simply because they didn't pick up the phone. I remember 3 or 4 months ago, I had to go to, it was like 11 o'clock on a Saturday night, and one of the dogs hit their leg off one of the tables and cut their nail thing, and it was, I don't want to get in details, but I needed the emergency vets because, again, I don't know what to do. So I needed the emergency vets, and that is like £300 just to get the appointment. Never mind the treatment, right? Just to get the appointment. And there's a few of them. The one that doesn't pick up the phone loses the business, and it turned out it's a simple, because it's the emergency vet, it's like £1,000 just to fix anything. So think about that, right? I pay it because it's an emergency. I don't care about the price. And you think, that's someone in a position who needs help right now. They're going to do and pay whatever. They're the highest value of lead. Someone who has an urgent problem they need fixed. A business who doesn't answer loses these emergency style leads. So it's a very, very, very expensive for them not to take advantage of this. So what if we could solve that problem for them? And this is where we plug in the AI employee system to answer those calls, to book the appointments, to capture the leads. Then the business stops losing leads. They stop wasting money, burning the marketing budget by missing calls. And when we run that AI follow-up campaign, it can handle all the booking for them automatically. Why is this important? Because it removes the effort. All the friction that they have is removed. When we run that database reactivation campaign with the follow-up, they don't even have to answer the phone. So basically what happens is they have appointments booked in their calendar completely automatically that have no acquisition cost. All of the objections the prospect might have, your customer, your client, we take them off the table. We remove them. So what have we done here? With the AI follow-up offer, we've got a fast-acting offer. We make money from nothing, thin air. We make the phone ring quickly, so they've got a very fast feedback loop. It happens quickly. They experience the outcome quickly. We bring in revenue from previously lost money that has no customer acquisition cost anymore. It's the most profitable type of lead. And on top of that, we've removed all the friction with the AI employee. They don't even have to answer the phone anymore. They don't have to lose leads just because they're working, driving, or eating dinner or sleeping. We make them money, but we remove all of the friction, all of the excuses, the reasons, the answers they have. They don't exist. It's too expensive. Hardly costs anything. Too much marketing costs, ad spend and such. There isn't any ad spend. They don't want the extra effort of dealing with tire kickers. AI does it for you. That's the beauty of it. Does someone have a question? I can hear.
Yeah, Niall, I have a question.
Go for it.
If we offer the 97, do we include the phone number, and do we take the price for the calls, or how do you go about it?
Give me 1 second, just a drink of water. I wouldn't include the cost for the calls. Now, it's not typically going to be huge volumes, so it's not really something to worry about. But I would not include the price of the calls. 297. Again, if it's a bit of a judgment call on the size of the list and such, but as long as it's not this ridiculously big list at 297, I would probably cover the costs or eat the cost. 97, I'd probably charge. I just connect the. I'd treat it like a mobile phone, right? Where we just connect it to their cards and they pay for the calls.
Okay, so it's part of the onboarding. You still ask the customer to connect their card.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you.
No worries. So we make them money and we remove all of the effort, and it's the perfect scenario for them. Their main desired outcome is to make money quickly. And this is very, very important. So listen in on this one. The main desired outcome is to make money quickly. Their main objection is that they don't want to spend money. They don't want to spend a fortune. They don't want to take on ad spend. They don't want to take on risk. And they don't want to spend any time doing it. They want it to be easy, effortless. We take all of the friction away from their desired outcome. And then we deliver the desired outcome so fast, they can't believe it. This is a combination, right? This is why I would go for that combination. Because psychologically, it hits everything they're looking for, all the excuses and the reasons. We tackle them. They don't have that anymore. And it creates this offer that they just can't say no to. It becomes very, very easy for us to sell at that point. So I'd stack these deals up. 97 to 297 per month. That's the boundary, where that's where I'd charge. And just like Nathan was asking there, 97, I wouldn't include the call times. Again, it's not really something. I mean, I have 1,200, 1,500 sub accounts, and I maybe spend 500 a month and on calls and stuff. It's not. It doesn't stack up to huge amounts usually, so it's not really something I worry about. But it's something to consider. So 97, connect their card. They pay for the small amounts of text and emails and call time. 297, I'd probably eat the cost unless it was a huge list. Now, once this system is plugged into their business, they're not going to want to lose it. Why not? Because they are one phone call away from a $6,000 deal. It's kind of like the psychology behind why people go to the casino, right? Why do they go to the casino? Well, they go to the casino and they're excited. It's all good. Then they get on a little bit of a losing streak. Let's say they're at the roulette table, right? They're on a little bit of a losing streak. And you ask, why don't you walk away? Well, that's because I think the odds are like 33 to 1. I don't really know, dude. I don't gamble. But is it like 33 to 1 to land on a number or something? They put $10 on that. That's $330. Again, it could be butchering those numbers. But regardless, they're one bet away from returning all of their money, any money they've lost. I think it may be higher than that, but they're one bit away from it. That's what keeps them there. But it's the same psychology, the same human psychology that keeps the business owner with us. That we are one campaign, it doesn't cost them anything. So we're one campaign from a $6,000 installation. Yet, even at $297, they pay less than that for an entire year. The whole year. They pay, about half of that? And we can get one deal in a month, one deal in a week. Never mind a whole year. So the numbers stack up. But does someone have their hand up? Do they have a question? I thought I heard.
Yeah. Hi, Neil. Good evening, everyone. It's Sarah here.
Sarah,
hear
there
me?
we go. I'm on a different tab. I can't see who it is.
Oh,
So
sorry.
Sarah.
Hi,
go for
hi.
it.
Good evening. I just wanted to find out under the Go High Level account that we have, can we have sub accounts under R1, or do we have to upgrade it to do that?
So we basically bridge the gap. You can have accounts. You can set up multiple accounts for clients by submitting the form for them, right? So you can set up as many as you want, and they won't cost you anything. Now, we always recommend as you progress, maybe as you get to 5 clients, 10 clients, it's better to then have your own account with Go High Level. Gives you a little bit more control. But at that point, the clients are paying for it for you. So yes, the answer is yes.
Okay.
You can have as many accounts as you want at no cost, but it's a good idea once you're at 5 to 10 or so clients to have your own, and we can transfer everything over for you.
All right. Thank you.
No worries. So I'll save you a lot of money there. All right.
I
So
just want to ask if,
Yep.
if we're doing it that way, it shows your branding though, not ours. So
it does. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just one little thing you've got to come over, but usually we keep it pretty generic. So I would just say that it's a software brand
okay,
that you
thanks.
use. For example, for my clients, it's all Go High Level. I don't even brand it. So yeah. It does have our branding, but for the sake of being able to save quite a bit of money, you get around that one, or you pay Go High Level. So it's a choice, a decision that you have.
Can I give my 2 bits?
Yep, go for it.
A lot of customers always ask if I built the system myself, if it's in-house built. And I always say, just like you, it's Go High Level.
Mhm.
Because you can't boast that you developed something that is robust, but you can always boast that you're using Go High Level and they have 1,200 developers working daily
Mhm.
on improving the system like every day.
Exactly.
So yeah, I'm a reseller of Go High Level. I always come up, and that usually calms them down a lot because they might doubt me as a
Mhm.
developer for something as big as important as a CRM for their business, but they don't doubt JHL. So yeah,
Yep.
the branding is just saying I'm the one reselling, but I always mention it JHL.
Yep, exactly. I have used that many times because again, I use that as a benefit, which is Go High Level have, I don't even know how many users. I'm gonna make up this number, but I know it's in the millions.
5 million, it's over 5 million.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure if it's users or businesses.
That'll be sub accounts.
Yeah,
Or
sub accounts,
founders.
correct.
I think again, last time I checked, it was like 500,000 different businesses, but it's probably way more than that now. But again, they manage the infrastructure, so they've got the capacity and ability to do that. So it's very robust. I use it as a point of leverage, actually. That you benefit from this infrastructure, plus on top of that, you get all of these additional services that you wouldn't get access to typically. I mean, even their support is what, like 500 a month or something for priority support. We'll provide priority support without you having to pay for that. So like, there's a lot of benefits you can add on to it. Any other comments, questions? No. All right. So yeah, use it to your advantage is what I say. So yeah, so as I was saying, they are one phone call away from a $6,000 deal. That's why they continue at that such a low price point, 97, 297. The potential for a $6,000 deal at any point throughout an entire year where they double their money is always there. So psychologically, they're gonna stick with you. So we're building it for retention. We're building it for them to never leave. Now, the risk of losing the deal or not getting that $6,000 deal because they cancelled is too high. They're not going to do it. It's not worth taking the risk of not having this system in place. So they keep it and they stick with you. They keep paying you because it's too, there's no point. Why would you risk $6,000 for the sake of $200? You would never do that, right? You just wouldn't do that. So the psychology behind it is in your favor. It's stacked in your favor. And that's exactly why I build the offers like this. So what I'm building here is a cemented system, a system that is cemented into their business where they pay you every month. And this means that each month it stacks and it stacks and it stacks. Your income doesn't start at zero. You've got the foundation, right? Once you get to that 10K mark, you've got the foundation in place. It isn't 10K anymore. And this is something that's is hard to digest, and it's not as if it gets easier. You are going to get to 30K a month, right? You're going to get to 50K a month. And then you're going to see people that are, 20 years younger than you are. You're going to see that. And you're going to see them hit 10K per month. You're going to see them hit 50,000. You think, I've been doing this for so long. That's the number I'm at the same number as they've been doing it for 8 months. How does that even work? But the thing you have to understand is that getting to 50K or 20 or 30 or 10 or whatever once is a very, very different scenario from building your monthly recurring revenue to that level. Because as you will see, as I'm going to show you in a second, it is a very different reality. When we have retention and we have the average retention is about 6 months, which is a 16.8, I think, percent churn rate, which is actually quite a high number. If you build a system like this, you might be closer to about 5% churn rate. So the numbers I'm going to show you are actually quite a high, I'm adjusting for quite a high churn rate, typically probably about 5%. So when we think about that, if you get to the 10K mark, you've got that. Every month, you've got 95% of that original 10K coming in every single month. Very different to just hitting 10K once. So you've got to strengthen your mind to be able to understand that we are not playing the same game as everybody else. We're playing a game where we get to that number once, we have very happy customers, very happy clients, and it comes in again and again and again. And our pure profit just builds up. I've told you before on these workshops that I know guys that do $250,000 per month that don't take home 20,000. Whereas with your system, you can operate at 80% profit margin at scale. You could do 100,000 a month and still have 80% profit margins, not 10% or less than 10% like everybody else. That's the beauty. We've got to understand this from a different frame. That's what gets you out of bed in the morning. That's what keeps you going. That's what keeps you motivated. Because you can be literally doing whatever you want and still earning. So all of this leaves us with one task. We have to get in front of people. The offer is strong enough. We just need to get it in front of people. So what do we have to do? Well, it means we've got to choose a customer acquisition path. Now, as you will know, we already have them in play. So I would personally, if it was me, I would personally choose the paid ads path simply because it's faster. Would I do sales calls for this? Nobody wants to do sales calls. But if I wanted to hit 10,000 as fast as physically possible, yes, I'd put the effort in to take sales calls. Mainly because these are very easy closes, right? We've been through the offer at this point. We know it's very easy. We know it's a no-brainer for these customers, these clients. But if I did sales calls, I know I'd have customers coming in and within 48 hours because I'd launch an ad, it would book a call, it would close. And yes, that does mean that you can have paying customers coming in within 48 hours. It's that fast. So I would personally use a call booking funnel to do this, to book calls into the calendar. And I'd estimate with this offer, I'd get about $30 per call. So for $30, I get a call on my calendar. If I close 1 out of 3, which is actually probably quite low, you've got to remember when we're dealing with 97 to 297, you're probably looking at more like 50% with such a strong offer, right? You're looking at about 50%, especially with the speed, the feedback loop, with people coming in and we're getting them results within 48 hours or 24 hours where we can make the phone ring. It leads itself to a very fast, easy close. So I would probably expect about 50%. But anyway, let's deal with 1/3. 1/3 of calls close. I pay $30 for a 97 to 297 deal. The average lifetime value on this offer would be at least 6 months. So that's going to generate $600 to $1,500 in that time. So $90, 1 out of 3, $30 per call. If these numbers are confusing, let me know. $30 per call. I close 1 out of every 3 calls. Therefore, I need to pay $90 for 1 customer. 1 customer over the course of 6 months is worth between $600 and $1,500, just depending on if I charge 97 or 297, right? They're worth between $600 and $1,500. So I spend $90 for that return from that customer. Pretty good return, right? Pretty good return. The math stacks up on it. I would keep that flowing day after day, just building them up every single day, letting it run. That's how I do it. Now, if I wanted to do this a bit more organically, I would run cold email and LinkedIn as a combination. Then I'd also have Instagram DMs to business owners with the offer. I'd do all 3 of these. Yep, it's effort. We're going to have to put effort into it, but we're talking about quickly getting into a position where we secure 100,000 per year. It's worth it. It's worth it for us to do this. And you're going to see why that 100K per year is actually 6 months. So I'd run hyper-personalized cold email, sending 30 to 60 emails per day. I'd run LinkedIn automations, and I'd send about 10 to 20 DMs on Instagram per day. So the 3 of them. My goal here is to book 3 calls per day, 1 on each of these channels. That's why I'm doing 3, 1 on each of these channels per day. The offer is so strong that this is more than possible. You can do this. Not because these channels are magical, but because the offer is so strong. So I'd estimate I'd close about 45 to about 70 customers per month. So 45 customers at $200 per month, or more like 70 at $97 per month, based on the price point. Obviously, the close rate is going to be higher for a lower price point. So that is sending. So basically, if I was doing this here, closing 1/3, I would close about 45 to 70 customers per month. So within that first month of doing this, of simply doing this consistently, 30 to 60 emails per day, LinkedIn automations, 10 to 20 DMs on Instagram, 3 calls booked per day, I can reach almost 10K per month doing this. But that's not really what's important. That's great, right? Within 30 to 45 days, we can hit that number with that input. But remember, it isn't just 10K per month. This is getting to 10K per month with huge diversification, with huge retention, and it gives you incredible stability. If you do this and you hit that $7,000 marks right in between the two numbers, $7,000 per month in your first month, on average, that's going to bring you $30,000 in cash in the next 6 months. If you didn't do anything else, so you stopped all activity, that email system, the ad system, whatever, if you stopped all of it after 30 days, that $7,000 brings in $30,000 in cash in the next 6 months. What if you kept going? It multiplies. And I've already done the math for you. With a 6-month average retention, that means a churn rate of 16% per month. So that's what it works out as. 6 months retention translates into a churn rate of 16% per month. Over that 6 months, if you consistently ran the customer acquisition, you'd collect over $100,000. So every month you just run the system, whether it's the ads, whether it is the emails, LinkedIn, and Instagram combination. 1 meeting a day per source. You bring in $100,000 in 6 months. That is all we have to do. 30 to 60 emails, LinkedIn automations running in the background, and Instagram DMs. That little combination with the offer, closing 1/3 on a ridiculously good offer, $100,000 in 6 months. That's how fast it can actually move. And that's simply systemizing the process. The upside behind what we're doing is crazy. It multiplies so quickly. And this accounts for churn. This accounts for the 16% churn, which, as I said earlier, is quite high. You're probably looking at more like 5 to 8% churn, so half of that. But even accounting for quite a high churn rate, you're still collecting $100,000 in 6 months, not 12, 6 months. So the upside is crazy. And again, that does not count upselling customers, cross-selling them into other offers, expansion, so adding additional recurring income by giving them different services. Remember the stack I showed you earlier? I'll show you again in a few seconds. That stack, it doesn't account for any of this. Yet it's so simple. You have all of these systems ready to go. You can go out there and you can start selling. The system is proven. It's right there. It's in your account. You've got the lead generation systems there as well. And you've got the license to do all of this. You don't have to go out there and buy more stuff. The license is already there. You've got the ability to take what we have and go high level. You've got the ability to use the website that we have. You've got the ability to take all the automations, to take all the offer structures, the markets, the pricing. You take that, you go out tomorrow, you sell it over and over and over and over and over again. And that turns into 200,000. Simple as that. And I don't want to oversimplify it, but I can't make it any more complicated. You send 30 to 60 emails. You set up the LinkedIn automation. You send 10 to 20 DMs on Instagram per day. Or you run paid ads to a call booking funnel, one of the two. If you do that, if you run this offer, if you close just 33%, which, as I said earlier, is actually quite low for this particular offer, just because the offer is so good. It makes complete sense. It has such a fast turnaround time. It's an incredibly powerful offer. It's all there. And that's considering a retention rate of just 6 months of 16% churn monthly. You can get that under 10%. It works even better. So we're looking at 200,000 in annual income, not really pushing very hard. And you can have a VA do all of it for you as well. You can have AI do much of the heavy lifting. You can do all of this. It's already there. So if you're not making 200K a year, focus in on this. The answer is right in front of you. If you want relatively automatic income, if you want strong diversification without relying on big clients, if you want sticky business services, and for your income to compound, to snowball and grow each month, if you want offers that are so easy for a business to say yes to, that deliver results and cause you virtually no stress, it's all right in front of you. And this is exactly how I'd get to the 10K per month mark as fast as I possibly could. I'd do the AI follow-up agency combined with the AI employee, both of which you have access to. I'd then choose my lead gen, my customer acquisition source, both of which work. Paid ads work, cold email works, LinkedIn works, Instagram works. That combination, they work. Paid ads or outbound, both of those work. Then it's just about getting out there. And if you get stuck, you've got all the support at your fingertips. And this is why it's so powerful. It's proven, just like opening up that McDonald's. You go out there with a working model, you just have to get in front of people. And as you know, you have the tools to do it already. This is the money model. This is how I do it. This one, AI follow-up agency. This one. And then, again, this is a question I get all the time. Where would I start? What would I do? How would I do it? It would be these two right here. Follow-up agency and the AI voice. Both of which you have access to. Both of which you have pre-built systems in Go High Level. Both of which you can simply take those systems, go out there tomorrow, and start selling to customers. You've got the paid ad system through the call booking funnels to bring customers in. You have the outbound prospecting systems. You've got cold email training. You've and the pre-built flows. You have LinkedIn automations. You have outreach scripts as well for Instagram. All of these things you have at your fingertips. You just have to put them into action. But that's exactly the offer structure I would use if I wanted to make 10K as fast as possible. And as I said, you have everything you need to do this. That wraps us up for the training for today with the workshop, with exactly what I would do. And I'm going to open the floor here to any questions. Does anyone have any questions they want us to cover? Bernard is saying this is exactly what you've been planning on doing. Yep, exactly. Phil, do you have a question there? You're muted.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I was trying to put my hand up, but failing. So I've got a couple of things. So, how would you deal with using LinkedIn Organic? Because obviously, you can only have one LinkedIn I'm supposed to have LinkedIn profile. Would you gear everything on your LinkedIn for the time of running the organic towards the offer you're running, and only one at a time through LinkedIn Organic?
You mean like the content side, or
the content and how the profile is primed as well?
Right. So I think I would keep my profile focused around we help business owners make money. Simple as that. And I think I would make the content can fluctuate depending whatever you point focus towards. So I would have content about these types of systems, probably similar, like a little sort of demo system of how something would work. And then, of course, the automations would just be specific to this particular service. So yeah, content is more, profile, more about how you make business owners more money. Content about this in particular, and then, of course, sequences specific about this.
So I'm not that far into because obviously, I was going to be starting on the AI agency model for the beauty sector. Would you, if you were me, would you focus on that, get that up and running, or would you kind of switch to this because I'm quite at the start of that process?
I would. What do you think's in the beauty space? You're talking about med spas and such, right?
Yeah. Med spas and I mean, this is now thinking about it logically. That's a longer term offer because it's through a ladder funnel. So this probably is a more compelling offer and a quick one to get live because it's a call booking funnel. So logically, I should switch to this, get this going, and then I've got time to build that separately and get that pillar sorted, I think.
Well, the only reason, honestly, the only reason I say start with one is to keep focus. But the reality is, this entire model that we're looking at here on the screen, it's really plug in, right? So like med spas, we even have the AI voice stuff, examples and demoed for med spas and such. So it's all there. And the only thing that changes is the lead gen, right? If it's call booking, it's very fast and easy. You just throw up a VSL, demo the system, and they'll put calls in your calendar. So I think, and again, I recommend one to start with to avoid overwhelm. But I don't think that's something you typically struggle with. So I'd be okay with that. I don't see why you can't just throw up the VSL for this type of offer, get it moving, and in the meantime build the AI agency structure as well.
Yeah. And the final question I had was, obviously there's the two routes, there's the ads versus outbound. Would you start with doing both at the same time, people ads and outbound, or would you just focus on either ads or outbound? Only you've got one of them optimized, of course.
I would probably, if I had the flexibility of choice, I would probably just go straight to ads.
Okay.
Because again, you're trying to increase volume by bringing in the additional channel, but the reality is you could just spend more.
Yeah.
Lower hanging fruit that way.
Yeah, which I think is the method. I think that's the route I'll go because I've still got some fund coming in from some of the older R&D projects. So that's enough to fund it. And like I said, if you can get it moving quickly enough, I mean, you're quite right. I think the route to get this profitable, it's a much quicker cycle than getting the AI agency one up and running, because of course it will need tweaking, obviously, because of course it will, because it's a bigger system. I think that's everything I need to know. So thank you very much.
The AI agency, are you speaking about doing direct sale?
Call booking funnel. And what you mean for this offer that we've just been talking about?
No, for the agency, are you thinking?
No, that was going to be through a ladder funnel to mitigate ads.
So direct. Okay, that's what I mean though. Okay, so that will be hard. It's not harder, but it'll be, because you're doing it through a ladder funnel. It takes more tweaking. You're right. It takes more. Obviously it's more automated, but it takes more tweaking. Whereas the friction to book a call is much lower. So, I would probably think. I think it would be faster, just because the friction is lower. Because the ladder funnel, that does the job of a call. So the difference is, you're thinking of it as how can I get traction quickly? Well, we're removing part of the task by taking a call, because you're doing the work on the call, right? You're doing the work of a funnel on the call. But we're trusting it. So I'd say it will be faster for you in the short term. That's why I said I would do it. I said if I was starting from scratch and I just had all the time in the world, calls.
Okay, cool. Well, that's all my questions. I'm going to hop off now, but thank you very much for this. Much appreciated as always.
No worries. And Bernard's asking, how much per day for running ads? Well, The way to view it is how many calls you want per day. I estimate it would cost about $30 per call. So if you want 2 calls per day, you spend 60, and it's not going to be perfect. Some days you'll get 3 calls, some days you'll get 1 call. It's an average. It could be more expensive. I don't expect it to, because your market can be quite expansive. I don't expect it to be more, and because the offer can be so strong, I would estimate about 30. But you know, I've had offers where I spent 300 per call, and it was like, you know, it was a $5,000 offer, but 300 per call, right? So yeah, it depends on the offer itself, but how to analyze that would be, if I was doing $30 per call, how many calls do I want within reason? How much am I willing to spend? Balanced with how many calls do I want? You know, I'm not gonna just throw, you know, if I'm not comfortable spending 100 per day, then I'm not going to, 3 calls per day is not worth that to me yet. So I wouldn't spend that. But if I'm comfortable spending 60 per day, I can expect 2 calls per day. I'm happy with that. You also got to remember that there's the delay. So there's the book a call. That call could be 2 days away. So you're not getting, and you've got to close the call, you know, close the deal as well. So if you're closing 1 out of 3, you could be in a position where it's taking you 3 days to close a deal. But over those, let me just rephrase how I'm saying this. If it takes you 3 days to close a deal, just through, not because it's 3 days have passed, but because through time lag, right? The customer has booked a call and they've booked it 2 days away. You've got to wait those 2 days in order to close that deal. The difference is, over those 3 days, more and more calls have booked in. So there's a lag. It's like there's a lag behind it. I'm not sure if that's making sense. There's a lag behind when you spend and that call booking in and closing, but the lag builds up. So you'll end up being, okay, you wait 2 days to close your first deal, but then you get a deal every day for the next 3 days. So you start to make your money up very quickly. It's like there's a lag, but then it's like the snow starts to fall off the mountain, right? It's like an avalanche. All the deals start coming in. So it's like there is that delay in play, but it changes very quickly when it does click. So that's how to view it. Whatever you're willing to wait 2 or 3 days for, if you're willing to spend 50 per day, because you can go down $150 for that lag to happen, that's the number that you want to spend. Let me know if that makes sense or doesn't make sense, or you need it reframed a different way. It makes sense in my head. Again, it might not make sense in yours. I'm happy to adjust how I said that if you did, Bernard. And there's asking, are the assets like funnels automations for the division in the lab courses? They are in the courses, yes, the new courses. We don't have specific funnels for them, they're called booking funnels, but we're currently building them. But we do have all the automations, yeah, that you can plug into different businesses and for different niches too. So you can plug them in. And do we focus on one niche, or is AI the niche? I would probably say focus on one particular niche, because people buy specifics. So for example, like med spas, Phil was talking about med spas, I would focus on that one particular market. And the difference is you can flip into different markets very easily, very quick. You can have multiple running. But a med spa, if they saw an ad for like automations with med spas, they're going to book in for that. So I would use that to my advantage. I would take advantage of it and build multiple different offers. Same offer, just in different markets, just presented to that particular market. Just like you would have seen me do with like the insurance market before, business brokers, all that kind of stuff. It's the same offer. I just go into different markets with it. So same thing, just a different cover on the book, basically, for that particular market. And you're saying, I'm just reading the chat for anyone watching the recording here. She's asking, I would need to use a new domain to send cold emails, so I don't burn my main sending domain. Is there information how to do this, how to warm up? Yeah, it's super easy. You just have to, you grab a new domain, And then if you use like Woodpecker or something, or I think Lemless do it as well, you can just hit the warming service, and it'll, I think it doesn't even cost anything actually. It operates in the background. So it just warms up the email for you in the background on an ongoing basis, so you can get started pretty quickly, and it will just warm up the email as you progress. You don't actually have to do anything. It's literally just a button that you press. And you're thinking of the home services before taking it down to. Oh well, yeah. You know, I think I would go for, if I was thinking home services, I would probably go. Would I? I think I would test it broad. You know, you could spend $100, test it, and you'll know by then if it's booking. With broad home services, you might want to mention in, like, yeah, I do a video sales letter. You might want to mention plumbers, electricians. I think I would focus on emergency versus like kitchen remodel, if you know what I mean. Like, one, plumbers, electricians, they're going to respond to the emergency stuff in the middle of the night, whereas a kitchen remodeler, they can wait till the morning. So I would probably do it urgent versus non-urgent is how I'd define my markets there. Bernard, you were saying that what would say to somewhat warm local leads to start up a conversation? I would basically, just like the electrician example I gave earlier, you know, when I needed the electrician because the plug socket was heating up, it was at 10 p.m. on a Sunday, I think it was. Yeah, it was 10 p.m. on a Sunday, and I was panicking because I had a plug socket, and I know nothing about plug sockets, and a plug socket basically looking as if it was going to explode or something. And what am I going to do? And I'm on Google trying to find an electrician at that time of night. No one picks up the phone, but yet I didn't care what it cost. I just wanted it fixed the next morning. And first of all, I wanted to know, was I okay? Is it going to explode? And then, you know, I sent pictures of it, and the person was telling me if it was going to explode. Well, the reality is, if there's set sort of education with AI voice, or sorry, AI chatbots in that scenario replying back to me, they can give advice. Not obviously there's going to be, what's the word I'm looking for, disclaimers and things. They're not going to give advice. I've not seen the plug socket, but generally speaking, if a plug socket, and this would just be generic information, if a plug socket is heating up, if it's not cooling down at all, it is an emergency situation. Let us know. The emergency fee is X. So they would get emergency fees on top. If they don't have any of that, they'll lose the business. They lose it entirely. Do they want to lose it? The vet example, right? As I said, that was £300, about 500 USD, just to show up to the office. And it was like another 1,000 on top just to get stitches in it, which would cost like $60 normally. It's ridiculous fees. But again, they would lose the business had they not been available at 11 p.m. on a Saturday night. Now that I say this, I do seem to have a lot of emergency situations. I should probably stop having those, because clearly it's costing me a fortune. But I'm a perfect example of it. I didn't care what it cost. I just wanted the dog fixed. So they're losing this high value business. Someone who doesn't care about the cost because it's an emergency, if they don't pick up the phone, they're losing that business. So I would give these types. Instead of trying to sell them the service, I would give them these types of examples. And you're saying, Bernard, you've got a friend that's in solar and another one in HVAC. Yep, those would work. Solar is more so, it's more so about lead volume and working those leads and filtering through the tag kickers, because they waste a lot of time, those guys, on people that have rented accommodation. They can't put solar in. So it's filtering. HVAC, it could be, I'm trying to think the specifics of HVAC, because it could fall into sort of more emergency situations at times, but it could also be more just general. And again, filtering, filtering the leads. Same with mortgage is more filtering as well. So you've got two different types: emergency versus filtering. That's the balance you've got to always strike. And again, hopefully that answered the questions there. It can be hard to make sure it hits home if we're not chatting. So I'm going by I'm going by there's no follow-up questions. If there are any follow-up questions, just let us know. Does anyone else have any questions they wanted to ask about this or anything whatsoever? Feel free to ask. You can ask in the chat, or you can ask by unmuting yourself. No worries, and that's absolutely fine. Sarah, you got a question?
Yes, hi now. So if I want to, because I think when I came on board, I was going to start with the AI agency one. But obviously after listening to you this evening, I think it's starting to get a bit clearer. So if I wanted to do the AI follow-up agency, I just follow the course on the student platform and just run through that, and that should be able to take me from start to finish.
Yeah, that's right. And also with that, you'll see that there's pre-built automations for it. They're found within Go High Level, within the account that we give you.
Sorry, could you say that last bit again? So sorry.
So you've got the course in Teachable that takes you through A to Z.
Yeah.
And in combination with that, you have within the Go High Level account that we provide for you, automations that go with it. So pre-built stuff, pre-built automations that marry up nicely with it.
All right, lovely. Okay,
Right.
thank you.
No worries. And those are the ones that you can resell tomorrow.
Okay, cheers.
And Antha, you're asking there, can you state the courses again? So yeah, AI follow-up agency and AI voice, which is known as the AI employee, because we combine chatbots and voice together. So the AI employee is what you're looking for. And organic, LinkedIn, Instagram, and cold email for organic. Cold email and ads as well. It's a call booking funnel for ads. And Safari, you're asking for the agency and the course that mentions the niche down like HVAC, but wouldn't offer to contractors. Yeah, for the AI agency in particular, yeah, broad offer to contractors will work fine. Yeah, you can expand it a little bit for that one. Sarah, do you have another question?
Yeah. Roughly, like, what do you think the time frame is from start to finish with the AI follow-up agency?
In terms of getting launched, or
getting up and running, getting it launched, yes.
Probably, honestly, like 40 hours. If you go through it, you can go through the program itself, understand the nuts and bolts, and then you can, a lot of it's pre-built, so you can just go straight out there and start bringing in customers. It's very, very fast.
Thank you.
No worries. No worries. Olivia?
Yeah, I got a question about like the phone numbers. So if I understood well what I read, you can go through LC phone to get a number, which is basically their own version of Twilio. But like, I saw that, for example, for France, seems like there is like some regulatory package or whatever, bundle, whatever they call it. I think some destinations are more complex than some other to get the number. I know in Twilio it was quite complicated to get. And my question also is like, if I'm based my agency in the Netherlands, can I buy a UK number and a US number?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you can buy numbers basically anywhere or anywhere you want. It's always going to be more complicated for France and Germany. So
yeah,
it always is, but not impossible. Not impossible.
Yeah,
it's just going to not be as, the US is going to be
straightforward. Yeah.
Yeah, very straightforward. But
yeah, and they don't even show the fee. They show example from Canada, US, or what the fee for voice AI and stuff like that, but they don't even mention it for other country like France and stuff like that. So like, but yeah, okay.
The good news
I will check it out.
Yeah, I mean the good news is that you've got a lot less competition as a result.
Yeah,
that's
of course. Yeah.
which is a big advantage. And of course, you
But-
speak
but
the
it-
language, so
Yeah. Anyway, I'm going after some clients in the UK. I like to be paid in pound. It's good. Thank you.
no worries, no worries. Mohammed's asking here for which tool would I recommend. Over the long term, we've been using WeConnect for LinkedIn automations. There's probably new ones out there. WeConnect was cloud-based, which made a difference in terms of the performance and security of accounts and such. So that's what we used. But there's probably lots of other tools. When I find something, I tend to just systemize it and stick with it. So there may be, if you want me to look at different tools, I can have a look at them for you if you find things, but that's what we use. And Anthony is asking if I would start a completely different site for AI, but could I use the same? Yeah. You can just use this exact same. What I do is I don't typically create new sub accounts. I just have different sites, different domains connected, and use, because that's the thing, I don't want to do all that stuff again for A2P and such. So I just keep everything under the same thing and the same one central sub account, and have different websites and things flying around for it, because that avoids all these issues. So yeah, you can do that. No problem. All right. Does anyone else have any questions? Just check the chat here. I think I covered everything there. All right. Perfect. Okay. If there's no other questions, I'll wrap up the training there. Okay. Perfect. All right. My voice is hoarse as ever, like every Wednesday. Just make that my no talking day. But perfect. All right. Well, thank you for coming, everybody. Hopefully you found that valuable. And if you have any questions going forwards, I'm Gargle. So if you have any questions going forward, just let us know in the chat or in the group or whatever you need, and we'll get you taken care of. And Alyssa has been away all week. She's been riding horses in Ireland, so it's just been me flying solo, keeping the chat answered. So yeah, she'll be back to full speed as of tomorrow. Well, probably Friday. She'll probably be sleeping tomorrow. But anyway, yes. Yes, and pop an email, Bernard, to customer support at skillssurvey.com, and she'll come back to it. She's flying tomorrow morning, so she'll probably get it in the afternoon, but she'll get you taken care of in terms of go high level, and Sarah's there as well. Any questions? Just let us know, but I know Alyssa does most of the go high levels. But yeah, just let us know, and we'll take care of you, and we'll get you started. Perfect. All right. You're welcome,
Thanks,
everyone.
Neil.
Chat to everybody later.
Bye.
See ya.